I'm doing a video for you, Haley, and anybody else who wants to watch this. This is practice 5.5. So there's a couple things to be aware of on this page. So it says triangle MNO is similar to triangle JKL. If you remember from class, we talked about how similar means same shape, different size. And let me zoom in on this a little bit bigger so you guys can see this too, okay? All right, so they're trying to say that these two triangles are similar, means same shape, different size. Now what they're asking you is a couple different questions here about numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. Angle M, which we know is right here, right, that spot right there, corresponds to what angle on the other side? So which spot on this triangle matches that spot there? Newsflash, quick jump, yes, this one matches there. So you'd have to answer it by saying like angle J, all right, matches angle M. So the same thing they're asking you on angle L. So if here's angle L on this one, what angle on that one over there matches it? And you'd write that down. Then it says line segment JL, which we know line segment JL is going to be this entire piece here, okay? So it goes from J to L, so a line segment, that piece from there to there. What corresponds on the other triangle to this spot there? So you would name it by writing it the same way. There's the bar over the top representing the word line segment, or the idea there's a starting and a stopping point, so it's a piece of a shape, a piece of something. And then you go to number 4, MN, okay, so you have M to N up here, corresponds to what on the other triangle over there. If you do that, then you're answering the corresponding matches. And this feeds into the idea that basically you can compare two similar shapes, right? Whether they're triangles, rectangles, octagons, it doesn't matter. And you can use them to set up ratios to find out what the missing part is. And we'll go over that in a second. Now it says, what is the ratio of the lengths of the corresponding sides? So let's give you one to start you off with. 24 over 18 would be one of them. Now there's going to be two other ones, right? So you're going to want to match the other two corresponding sides to each other so you have 3 total answers. And I've just given you the first one because 24 here matches 18 here because those are the corresponding sides. Same bottom side in this triangle, same bottom side in this triangle over here, so they match each other. Now, from that spot, if you move down to the next section of the page, it says the pairs of figures below are similar, which means all of these are similar. So they're all the same shapes, but they're all different sizes. Now that being done, so this is a pentagon, 2, 4, 5, and each one is 5. Now, by looking at this, you're going to guess, of course, that x equals 4, and you're going to be right. But if it wasn't such a nice little number, you'd have to actually work it out. So let's take a quick look at this and center this up a bit. So in this case, I'm going to do something like this. Using ratios, I can form a proportion because I'm comparing numbers through division. So I'm going to put 5 over 4. I want to find out what x is. So I'm also going to put 5 over x equals 5 over x. So in this case, I cross product 20, all right, equals 5x. Because I'm multiplying in a cross product, that x-shaped multiplication. Now I have a single step algebraic equation. So I divide by 5, I divide by 5, and then x equals 4. And that's the answer I'm looking for. Okay, so once you've done that, it shouldn't be that big of a deal to go and extend the same idea to the rest of the problems underneath it. And they kind of work the same way. So in this one there's y, so you have to set up a proportion. Now the easiest way to do this is using the corresponding side. So again, 24 over 18 equals 16 over y. And then you cross product and go from there. So 24 over 18 equals 16 over y. Now, since I'm reading from left to right, I have to start with my number on the left on top. So that means if I do that with the first one, 24 being on top, then when I do the second ratio, I also have to put 16 on top. So you have to continue going the way you start out. Then from there, cross product and solve for y. Now you might be able to reduce the ratio ahead of time to make the number smaller, so you're doing smaller multiplication if you want to as well. Going from there, take a look at number 9. Number 9, of course, has something a little different. It's like 2 problems in one. First, you got to figure out what x is. Let me bring this up. First, you need to figure out what x is. Then you need to figure out what y is. So I would do something like this. 15 over 10. All right, so 15 and 10. Then I would do x over 8. This is compare the corresponding sides that match on similar shapes. It's the same shape, but it's a different size. So the sides correspond. This side matches this side, and then this side matches this side, okay? So as they match each other like that, then I set up my proportion. When I solve this, that will tell me the value of x. Then I go back, and just like it's a brand new problem, I solve for y. And how I could solve for y is by doing something similar. I could go 15 over 10 again, because those really aren't changing. And then I can go 20 over y. And then I do the cross products and I solve for y, and I'll have my value. And I'll have two answers for number 9 there, because there are two variables I'm looking for. Now, number 12 and number 13, basically you need to set up and create the shape and create the problem. I'm going to do the number 12, I'll help you set it up, okay? Number 13, I'm going to leave off all on your own. If anybody else is watching this video and has been working on practice 5, haven't got stuck, this may give you a little help too. On a sunny day, if a 36-inch yardstick casts a 21-inch shadow, so 36-inch yardstick, 21-inch shadow. At this point, your mind should be going, hey, if I took both those little segments there and I connected them, I got a triangle. All right, I know my drawing skills are amazing. So then it says, how tall is the building whose shadow is 168 feet? So let's clean this up a bit. 168 feet, okay? So I don't know how tall the building is, but I know its shadow is 168. Again, connect it, and now I have two similar shapes, okay? This is my x value because I don't know how tall it is. Again, just like we did before, I might start off with x over 36 equals 168 over 21. So, to recap, I know these shapes are similar, okay? They're the same shape, but they're different sizes. Now, that being said, I then use my knowledge of ratios and proportions. I create a ratio by comparing this corresponding side to that corresponding side. Two numbers compared through division. That's where I get the x over 36. Then, in order to form a proportion and solve for the missing variable, I take another one, which is 168 to 21, and make a new ratio and put it over here. Both following the pattern of my left-hand number goes on top for each one when I start. Then I'm going to cross product, right, and figure out what x equals. You could reduce these maybe perhaps to make the number smaller, or you could just do the division and the multiplication, you know, and boom, move on. Now at that point, you may be going, wow, a calculator would make my life a lot easier. And you're right, that would be a good idea. It's only going to take you a few minutes to grind through it on a piece of paper, and you might want to check your work if you need to. It kind of depends on your comfort level and what you want to use. When you get larger numbers, yes, that might make really good sense to use a tool or a device to help you check as you go through with that. In the real world, most people have access to a device to help you do some of the heavy lifting. But don't ever let something like a calculator become a crutch for you, okay? Because you won't always have access to it. Always know how to do it manually, because you may have a dead calculator, lose it, got it stolen, you know, you don't have access to it. So knowing how to do it manually is going to be very important all the time too. All right? Now, that's how you do practice 5.5. Take a quick look through that. If you got any questions, email me. It's pretty straightforward. It is 1 through 13. 13, you're going to end up using basically a rectangle because it's about a map and it's a scale map question. Notice, west to east is going to describe how long that rectangle is, and north to south is going to describe how tall that rectangle is, okay? Or, of course, you can go length and width depending on your orientation of it might be slightly different, but you get the idea. There's going to be two long sides and two short sides. Then you're going to have another rectangle that you're going to try and figure out. 400 miles and 300 miles, and if the map is 15 inches tall, it's a scale map question. You're setting it up exactly like what you did in this one, and you get the exact same kind of ideas you get from the problems above it, where you have to sit there and solve for a variable. Okay, hope this helps. Have a good day, and